All right, friends, so last week you cut out 6 different types of shapes. Most of them were geometric. Remember, our geometric shapes are shapes that have names, shapes that are human-made, that have a lot to do with math. So like triangles, circles, squares, rectangles, those are all geometric. And then we also cut out one organic shape, and our organic shapes are found in nature. So flowers, leaves, clouds, butterflies, rocks, all that kind of stuff is organic. Organic shapes are free form. They're made or found in nature. So this week, you're going to need one piece of paper to glue your shapes down onto. I like black because the shapes show up really nicely on it. You're going to need all of your shapes from last week, so you'll have one organic shape, 2 squares, 2 rectangles, 2 triangles, a diamond, and a circle. You do not have to use all of these shapes, but I want you to use at least 5 of the 6 different types of shapes. So you don't have to use all of them, but I want you to use as many as you can. So on your sheet of paper, we're not going to use glue yet. You will need glue and you'll need a marker to add details. And maybe some other paper, but I'll get to that in a second. I want you to just lay your shapes out on your paper and test out a couple different ways you could combine them. So I'll show you an example on mine in just a second, but start by putting all your shapes on your paper and then lay them out, try out different designs for your wacky monster. All right, friends, so I have my black paper and all my shapes on my paper. So what I mean by arranging them to look like your monster, start by just kind of separating them out and test out different designs. How could you use your shapes to create a wacky monster? How could you layer them? What might be a good arm? What might be a good leg? Maybe a tail. Maybe the whole thing is a face. So I decided to change the way my paper was going so that I could change the shape of my monster. So originally I had my paper going left to right, and then I decided that it would look better if I made my monster go up and down. So I really like this shape that I've made, this monster, crazy monster. I'm not using one of my yellow triangles, but that's okay because I still have one triangle on here, and I've used all the rest of my shapes. If one shape just doesn't seem to fit, that's okay. You don't have to use it. I do have some shapes that overlap. Some are below other shapes. Some are on top, and that's okay too. So once your shapes are in the position that you like them, they're laid out just like you want them to be, you're going to take your glue bottle. Remember, I have a smiley face on my glue bottle to know when it's open and closed. So right now it's open. When we use glue, our wonderful glue rule is dot, dot, not a lot. So I want you to find the side of your shapes that has maybe your pencil lines, your marker lines from when you drew your shapes last week. So my marker line's facing up, and that's the side I'm going to put glue on. I'm leaving a little bit of space from the edge. These are glue raindrops, not puddles. So once I have the glue on my shape, I'm going to press it down onto my paper. A good rule is to count to 5 when you've glued it down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll move on to my next shape. It's okay if a little glue comes out of the side. If a lot of glue comes out of the side, then maybe ask an adult for a paper towel or a tissue to kind of dab that up. So I'll move on to my rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll keep going through all of my shapes. Remember, marker side up. Marker side is the side with the glue, or pencil side. All right, so now that all of my shapes are glued down, I can go back with a marker. Well, first, make sure that your glue bottle's closed, set aside. I can go back with a marker to add details. Another option is to cut out other shapes from construction paper. Like maybe I would take a white sheet of paper and cut out eyes for my monster. Maybe I would use a totally different color. So you can use shapes to add details. I just decided that I'm going to make this yellow triangle a hat. So I'm going to add it while I'm talking to you. But you can go back and add details with markers or crayons or colored pencils or with construction paper, whichever you prefer. So this type of art where you glue down shapes or paper on top of other paper, taking parts and creating something else, is called a collage. Can you say collage? So you just created a collage by gluing all of your shapes down. So I'm going to go back with my marker, maybe add some patterns on the clothes, maybe add a silly face on my monster, but I'm going to go back and add some details. Crayons are really good to add detail on top of the background, and then markers would be good to, or crayons on top of your shapes. Your monster can be silly, it can be scary, whatever you'd like. We talked about showing emotion at the beginning of the year in our faces. My monster is a little bit surprised. So think about a way that you could show emotion on your monster too. The book that we're going to read in class is Glad Monster, Sad Monster. So if you want ideas from reading that book, I'll attach a link onto YouTube for a read aloud in that blue week 5 Schoology folder if you'd like to read that as well. So once you're finished with your monster, set it aside to dry and then have an adult take a picture of it to show me your beautiful masterpiece. Good luck, and as always, if you have any questions, please message me on Schoology. Adios!